Automation Singapore will be at Automation Solution Go 2026 on the 29th and the 30th of July. Drop by our booth to learn how our P-Series control technology and automation hardware can help you build smarter, more efficient and future-ready machines. We can't wait to meet you and discuss your automation needs. See you there!
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. I'm the sales head for industrial automation of Malaysia and Singapore of Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics has a very highly diversified portfolio of technologies. It's divided into 4 categories: power electronics, mobility, infrastructure, and automation. We are from industrial automation and proudly to introduce our business group to you. So we have a very diversified industrial automation offering, includes motion and control system, robotics arm, industrial digitization and AI systems, advanced equipment for electronics and semiconductor manufacturing, as well as manufacturing operation energy management system.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Automation Solution Go and the Regional Industry Networking Conference 2026. This is co-organized by Automation SG and Singapore Polytechnic. I am Emma.
And I'm Melinda. And we are honored to be your MCs for today's event.
I'm very, very excited, Mel. This is the 3rd edition of this event. And this is my 2nd time to come here. I hosted 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yes. The event continues to serve as a key platform for talent development, business growth, and technology adoption, and supporting enterprises in building future-ready capabilities. Mel, you have to excuse me. There are so many familiar faces here today. I'm looking at them. Kok Kin is checking his email. Kok Kin is here. Kok Kin is the CEO of Cora Environment. Please go talk to him later. Kok Kin, you want to give them a big shout, a bit of wave, so that they know that you are an SP alumna, a proud SP alumni. That is Kok Kin. And since we're talking about alumni, somebody just messaged me last night and said, I just landed, Emma. I'll see you in SP tomorrow. Mr. Joseph Wong from Krieger Industries. Joseph, say hello to everyone. So Joseph is with Krieger Industries. He has been a very big supporter of SP when he was with Fong Engineering. Of course, seated next to him is our director and center director of our Advanced Manufacturing Center, AMC, Dr. KK Lee. So again, you have to indulge me here because I just went outside, and did you know that we have 35 exhibition booths today?
Absolutely, and they are so exciting. So, as Singapore Polytechnic is an institute of higher learning, we support lifelong learning, of course, and through a range of industry-aligned courses, including part-time diplomas, work-study programs, and skills future career transition programs to support professionals just like all of you in your upskilling and reskilling journey.
And throughout these 2 days, make sure you go and visit the booth. In fact, another trivia, there is a person here, a very special person, special to SP as well, who is joining us as an exhibitor for the first time. He sits in SPETA Council, or Singapore Precision Engineering Technology Association, and he's also the president, the head of Smart Industry 4.0 Transformation Alliance, or SITA. Please say hello to Mr. Man. Mr. Man is here. He told me, Emma, this is the first time we're doing the exhibit. So this is not the first and last, right, Mr. Man? You'll come back next year. You chope again next year. I have to call them because I know I saw them earlier as well. The Executive Director of SPETA, Anwei, is here. Anwei, I think he's outside very busy.
Anwei is right.
Anwei, where's Anwei? Anwei, yes, Anwei. And of course, with Anwei is the Chairman of SPETA, Mr. Stephen Toy, is also joining us today. So, of course, I can also see a gentleman who has helped us, because speaking of SPETA, we work with them for second generation leadership program. And one of the things that we've done with them last year was to bring in industry leaders to engage the second generation leaders. And one of the people we've engaged in one of our fireside chat initiatives was the CEO of Stolt Engineering, Mr. Mark Tan is also here. Sir, would you like to be recognized? Make sure you visit him. Actually, he's not known only as CEO. He's also known as the People's CEO. Melinda, this guy is award-winning in anything and everything about human capital, people transformation. You have to talk to him later, okay?
And if we want to continue on with these conversations, we'd like to invite you to all of our 35 booths just outside.
This event is a green event. You're wearing green today, so we encourage all participants to return your lanyards. You're wearing your lanyards at the designated bins after the event if you're only attending for one day. But I think, Melinda, they'll be back tomorrow. For sure, they're gonna choke their seats tomorrow. So please keep your lanyards with you. We are currently waiting for the arrival of our guest of honor, Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of National Development.
All right, Emma, did you know that Automation SG is having an exciting giveaway at the end of today and tomorrow? They're gonna feature attractive prizes such as earphones, tablets, and smartwatches.
Oh, I really want that. Please tell me more. Anything that has like a promo and freebie, I'm there.
All right, so to qualify, all you need to do is complete your stamp card by visiting 5 booths and attending 1 afternoon track, which is really not hard.
Very easy. It's only 5 booths, guys. In fact, I just did a quick round just now and said hello to the booths. Of course, we are in SP, so you have to visit our SP booth. We are featuring our 5G AIoT Center. Our director is here somewhere or outside. Dr. Chise is here. He's not Dr. Chise because I'm looking at Dr. Edna. Dr. Edna Chan is Dr. Edna, say hello to our guest. Dr. Edna Chan is our center director, our school director here in SP, but she also oversees our Data Science Analytics Center, which is also part of our SPCWT. So you have to visit them as well. You visited them earlier, right?
Yes. So going back to our competition and our giveaway, because I'm sure a lot of our students here are also interested. So if you have not received your stamp card, please approach the registration counter. The results will be announced at 5 p.m. today in the main foyer. So be sure to deposit your completed cards in the giveaway box in the foyer by 4:30 p.m.
Can the staff qualify for that? Everybody's quiet. No, SP staff, you cannot participate, but you will visit the booth as well.
You will
right?
gain in knowledge.
Yes.
Gain knowledge today. Okay? So at this time, I would like to request that you switch your mobile devices to silent mode. Everybody have your handphones out?
Can you please take out your handphones? We want to see. But before you press that silent mode button, I want to ask you to do 2 things. First, you go into LinkedIn. Shall we do that together? Go into LinkedIn, find Singapore Polytechnic, and be part of the 148,000 followers of Singapore Polytechnic LinkedIn community. So if you want to know more about what we're doing here today, tomorrow, and other things, give us a follow. And while you're at it, please follow Automation SG LinkedIn page as well. Now you can press the silent mode after that.
Yes, okay. So for your safety, please take note of the emergency exits located on your left and right. Restrooms are also available on level 1 at the concourse.
Now, to officially kick off our day, let's take a moment to watch a brief video outlining the Convention Center's safety procedures. We are back, and while we're waiting for our GOH arrival, Melinda, this is a very, very packed day, isn't it?
It's absolutely packed. So for all of you who have signed up for the afternoon breakout tracks, please gather at the exhibition hall by 1:15. That is 115.
After the makan, you gather, and then you go to your breakout sessions.
Yes, and trust us, you won't fall asleep. Okay, so the student ushers will guide you to your respective venues, and you can, of course, refer to the information board in the exhibition hall or visit the event website for the full schedule.
If you're lost a little bit, you can go outside. Remember, we just tried it. There is an event concierge outside. So to all the organizers, I thought that was very clever. Huh?
Yes.
No more paper, no more paper.
No. Fully green event, so remember about your lanyards.
There are some people here in red shirts. May I ask, which booth or which organizations are you from? Yes. Booth 11, we should visit you. Do we get like a stamp when we visit you? We get a stamp and we get the prize. So we visit you, booth 11. And then in front of you, oh, he looks very familiar, from SPETA, I remember. One of the second-gen leaders from SPETA. Do you have a booth today? No booth today, but we have a SPETA member right in the crowd. Okay, I'm looking at people. We also have some students upstairs, so say hello to our students, Melinda. Look at that.
Hi.
This is a full house. We still have people coming in.
Many empty seats right here in the front as well, so you can join us here.
Later, make sure that you prepare your cameras because we have so many exciting scenes on stage. Our MOU alone is really exciting.
Speaking of MOUs, not to mention, don't forget to get your cards ready. E-cards, physical cards. Networking is abundant here.
Absolutely. Everybody's looking at us. Everybody's looking, it's like, who is she gonna call? Pokin, does Cora Environment have a booth here today? No, but next year you will, right? I'm chopping the booths for next year. You know, one of the things, yesterday we did have a rehearsal last night here, and we happened to chat to some of the speakers today, and there are some really very interesting speeches. I'm very, very excited. We want to connect the dots today, right? Beyond technology. And later we also have a panel, Melinda. So they're telling us GOH is not here yet, so why don't we'll take this time. We give everybody the chance to chat with the people next to you, exchange business cards, follow each other in LinkedIn, follow Singapore Polytechnic, and Automation SG, of course, and all the people that we have here today. We'll leave you alone for a while, and we shall be back.
Yes, that's right. I was going to ask you, but then I was like,
He's just barking. He's so good.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have been waiting for. Please welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of National Development.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. We are here today. We've had a little bit, remember, earlier on I said, before you put your phones on silent mode, go follow, hit as a follow, Singapore Polytechnic LinkedIn page and Automation SG. There's another person you must follow in LinkedIn, because I follow him in LinkedIn all the time, and that is Moss Alvin Tan. He has 90,000 followers, so if you want to be part of that 100,000 followers, we should follow him. I'm very excited to be here. Mostan, good to see you again. Actually, this is a welcome back, isn't it? Did you know that this is your 5th time in SP? I'm keeping account. So I first, of course, met Mostan right here in RINC. And then after that, I had the pleasure of meeting him as well through his work with Mentoring SG. He came here to work with our students as well. We have we're mentoring 10,000 SP students. We also met him through SPETA, Singapore Precision Engineering Technology Association, and of course here in RINC. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of National Development. Mr. So Waiwa, Principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic. Mr. Terence Teo, President and proud SP alumni of President of Automation SG. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the joint conference of Automation Solution Go and the Regional Industry Networking Conference 2026. I am Emma, as you already know. We've been introducing ourselves.
And I am Melinda, and we are so excited to be your MCs for today.
Jointly organized by Automation SG and Singapore Polytechnic, this 2-day event brings together stakeholders from government, industry, and academia to share insights, build capabilities, and explore practical strategies in talent development, business growth, and of course, technology adoption.
So you will find that throughout these 2 days, the program is packed with industry presentations, panel discussions, breakout track, attended and presented by industry experts.
There is truly no better time to engage. This is, after all, a networking conference. So make sure you do not leave this 2-day event without connecting to, say, 10 people minimum. Learn and explore collaborations. When you step out, you will find 35 exhibition booths that you can drop by and chat with the exhibitors.
So without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Mr. So Waiwa, Principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, to open the day with us with his welcome address. Mr. So, please.
Mr. Alvin Tan, the Minister of State for Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of National Development. Mr. Terence Teo, the President of Council, Automation SG. Distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and very warm welcome to Singapore Polytechnic. This year marks the 22nd edition of our Regional Industry Networking Conference. It is also the 3rd year we are co-organizing with Automation SG to make this a joint event, calling it Automation Solution Go. We are deeply grateful to Automation SG's partnership and continued commitment to grow this platform together. Bringing together SP's training network with Automation SG's ecosystem, this year's edition is by far the largest. There are a record 35 exhibitors and over 50 distinguished speakers presenting on key frontiers: AI, automation, robotics, space, and sustainability. Today, we also celebrate our collaboration with more than 20 strategic engineering companies. They have set up on SP campus joint laboratories, research centers, providing opportunities for students and staff to work on real-world projects with state-of-the-art equipment. We are most grateful for these strategic partners and look forward to continue our cooperation, particularly in the AI space. Overseas collaboration is key to amplifying our local impact. And over the last 2 years, this conference has highlighted partnership opportunities in Indonesia and in Malaysia. This year, our regional track, which will be held tomorrow, will turn to growth opportunities in China. We are also pleased to partner with Automation SG to advance the Trusted Industrial AI-Ready Framework. This framework aims to accelerate and scale AI adoption across enterprises. As the founding training partner, SP will help companies to build AI capabilities and deepen industry partnerships in key growth sectors. I'm happy to say that CAD Vision System and JAM Vistec have come on board as the strategic pilot participants. We invite you to visit our SP booth at the exhibition outside. You can see how an exhibit on agentic AI enables intelligent robot sorting. Another exhibit showcases how Gen AI can be leveraged to automate optical inspection. Yet, technology alone does not bring about enterprise transformation. People are the true differentiator. As one of Singapore's leading institutions for education, SP is committed to developing a future-ready workforce, equipped with the skills and confidence to harness all these emerging technologies. So, a recent example is our partnership with Global Foundries. We are supporting its digital transformation journey by helping them to build AI capabilities across its large and diverse workforce. We aim to equip more than 2,000 of their employees across various roles and different levels of digital literacy. By the end of the training, they will have the skills and confidence to thrive in an AI-enabled future. We are proud also to partner with the SALT system and CAD Vision System for training in computer-aided design with their SolidWorks Skillforce program. We will be the first institute of higher learning to be recognized as a SolidWorks authorized training center. 20 companies will be trained at the first instance. As part of this conference, there will also be 2 key talent development activities. First, there will be the Manufacturing and Aviation Career Fair. It is co-organized with NTUC's E2I and also the Women in Aviation Singapore chapter. It connects with 300 SP alumni and graduates with more than 30 companies offering over 1,300 job placement opportunities. Another activity is the inaugural STEM Awareness Seminar with an address given by EDB. The seminar will bring together over 600 students from across all the local institutes of higher learning. They will get to hear about the exciting career opportunities in the STEM area. I thank all our partner companies and organizations for coming alongside SP. Your collaborative spirit has allowed us together to make a difference for our students, our clients, our workforce, and for Singapore. Let us all celebrate all these partnerships today. Let me also extend my sincere thanks to Minister State Alvin Tan for his support, Automation SG's Council President Mr. Terence Teo for your collaboration for this joint event, and all the distinguished speakers for their valuable insights. We also appreciate the vital support from EDB, Enterprise Singapore, and IMDA for making this conference possible. Really, partners from all these sectors, a very sincere thank you from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. So.
Wow, Melinda, as I was listening to PCO, I feel like I'm reading the quarterly update, work plan update in SP. There's a lot of numbers there. Did you remember anything? Any of the numbers? 5G, remember? Of course, Chise is here. We have to remember 5G AIoT Center, right? But I remember some details. He did say that this is the 22nd time that we're doing RINC. The third time we're doing Automation SG. We have 35 exhibitors, 50 speakers, right? Wow. So really be ready to network, be ready to learn. And before we call on the next speaker, since we are in the morning of trivias, I also have a little trivia, because last night I spoke to him as I left SP, and he was preparing his speech. I said to him, "Sir, last time we met here in RINC, you just received your master's." So I said, "Are you going to the next chapter of going to be a doctor, PhD?" He said, "Emma, let's see, let's watch," right? So this, and he also said to me, I'm very excited to hear Mostan, because he said every time I listen to him, he brings home the point. So let's see if he himself will bring home the point today. He is a champion of lifelong learning. With his not so minted master's, he's also an SP alumni. It is our pleasure to invite Mr. Terence Teo, President of Automation SG, to deliver his opening address.
Thank you, Emma. I'm really flattered and probably got to do something to continue to learn. Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of National Development, Mr. So Waiwa, Principal CEO of Singapore Polytechnic, distinguished guests, agency leaders, sponsors, exhibitors, industry partners, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to Automation Solution Go 2026. Today is not merely the opening of another exhibition. It's the gathering of visionaries, innovators, and industry leaders who believe that manufacturing is not simply the backbone of our economy. It is the engine that will power Singapore's next chapter of growth. For the first time in history, machines are no longer simply following instructions. They are learning, reasoning, predicting, and most importantly, they are empowering people to achieve what was once thought impossible. AI is transforming how we design products, optimize factories, secure supply chains, and develop the workforce of tomorrow. This is a defining moment for every business, every worker, and every nation. The organization that embrace their transformation will create new industries, new jobs, and new business opportunity. Those who hesitate will not simply lose market share, they risk losing relevance. That's why Solution Go exists. Automation SG, together with our valued partner Singapore Polytechnic, founded Automation Solution Go and RINC with one bold vision: to build Singapore premier platforms where innovation meets industries, where ideas becomes implementation, where partnership becomes breakthrough, and where transformation becomes a reality. So I was remembering back then in 2022, when I met Mostan after we ended the IoT Asia. So together with Suin, myself, we were discussing, and Mos gave me the advice that we need to continue to have a platform for our members and a marketplace for our members to showcase the solution. So it's that sparks that Mos given to us that's how Solution Go exists. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mos. And I think the idea is very practical, and that's how we continue to grow Automation Solution Go. So please also join me in recognizing our outstanding colleagues from Singapore Polytechnic. I would like to take my deepest appreciation to SP CEO, Mr. So Waiwa, for continuing to believe and work with Automation SG to grow the event. So please also join me in recognizing our outstanding colleague from Singapore Polytechnic, the industry and partner team, IMP, the corporate communication, comms, and the engineering cluster, and of course, my dedicated Automation SG Secretariat. Their passion, commitment, and countless hours behind the scenes that have made Solution Go 2026 possible. Most importantly, they are helping to shape the future of Singapore advanced manufacturing and for many years to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe they deserve a big round of applause. Solution Go continues to grow stronger every year, and we brought together technology providers, manufacturers, RIs, academia, trade associations, and government agencies under one roof to create an ecosystem of innovation rather than isolated conversation like what Emma is mentioning. So one of the greatest challenges that is facing industry today is not the lack of AI intelligence. It is the shortage of people with skills, confidence, and a mindset to harness its full potential. Recognizing that early, Automation SG has been working closely with the Skills and Workforce Development Agency, SWTA, which is also one of our sponsors, since 2023. Through the Career Conversion Program, together we have supported more than 100 companies and enabled over 440 mid-career professionals to transition into future-ready career, creating new opportunities, redesigning jobs, and helping business to transform, while retaining the valuable talent. So my deepest appreciation to SWDA for trusting Automation SG as a program partner for CCP. Today is also our second year to partner E2I and NTUC to run the career fair with Solution Go and RINC. We have expanded the career fair to 31 companies, providing job opportunities for our graduate students and also mid-career personnel. Looking ahead, Automation SG is partnering Singapore University of Technology and Design, SUTD, and Singapore Polytechnic to develop industry-driven certification program that bridge education with the real-world industry needs. Together, we are building a pipeline of talent equipped for industrial AI, intelligent automations, and embedded robotics. So our mission is simple, but very ambitious. Not just to prepare people for the job of today, but to equip them for the industries of tomorrow and the career that have yet to be invented. As AI unlocks extraordinary opportunities, it also brings about new responsibilities from cybersecurity and data protection to intellectual property, governance, and accountability. So our responsibility is therefore not only to accelerate AI adoption, but to ensure that it's deployed responsibly, securely, and with the trust at its core. Although AI is becoming smarter every day, we still need humans to provide the wisdom, the judgment, and the trust. That is why Automation SG is leading the development of the Trusted Industrial AI Framework, TIA in short. We have already said our steering committee members have already done a lot of meetings in terms of building up the framework. So hence, our vision is simple. Singapore should not only build intelligent AI, we should build AI that the world can trust. No single organization can achieve this alone. It takes government, industries, academia, and every one of us working together to shape the future of advanced manufacturing. Automation SG is here to do, bringing people together, developing talent, accelerate innovation, and positioning Singapore as ASEAN trusted gateway for industrial AI. So as you explore Solution Go today, don't just collect brochures and name cards. Start the friendships, build up the partnerships, because the next breakthrough may begin with the person sitting beside you. So on behalf of Automation SG, thank you for being part of this exciting journey. Have an inspiring, productive, and successful Automation Solution Go 2026. Let's not just imagine the future. Let's build it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teo. You really brought home the point and championed this call to action for collaboration and partnership.
Thank you, Mel. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now our pleasure to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Ministry of National Development to deliver his address. Mo stand, please.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Emma, for the warm introduction. It's really good to be back. I asked Waiwa how many times I've been back. I think it's more than 5 in many different hats. And also to share that it's very different because I've just also worn a new hat, which is at Foreign Affairs. But for my good friend Terence, for PCO, Waiwa, and also all of our friends from Automation SG and Singapore Poly, a really warm welcome to all of you. I also understand that, as always, in all of the editions, all the 3 editions, that we have guests from overseas. So maybe we give a round of applause to our guests from overseas. Welcome to Singapore. This is the 3rd edition of Automation Solution Go, as Terence mentioned, and also RINC. And I really wanted to thank SP and Automation SG for inviting me every year, 3 times already. And congratulations also from growing this event from 25 exhibitors and sponsors last year to 35 this year. So I've been in the 1st edition, the 2nd edition, and the 3rd edition, all the editions. Darren's need to find somebody else. But if you were here for the 1st and 2nd edition, you'll notice that I always spoke about something. I always speak about people. And Emma, if you remember, I always speak about sports. In the 1st, I spoke about people's mindset, if you remember. I spoke about people's skill set, and I spoke about people's behavior. Mindset, skill set, and behavior. I was referencing our Olympians and our Paralympians. Then last year, I spoke about our swimmers competing in the World Aquatics Championships. And I used an analogy about how we must have a good swimming pool. That's to attract good swimmers to Singapore. I also talked about how we must expand the pool so that more will come. And I also spoke about how we must swim well with others. That means, different companies, different IHLs like Singapore Polytechnic, different people swimming well, working well with others across industry, across sectors, and across nations. Now, yesterday, 16-year-old Amanda Yap just clinched silver at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games. It was Singapore's 1st Commonwealth Games medal for gymnastics since 2014. Again, yes, please, for Amanda. Again, I go back to the sports analogy, but why do I keep returning to sports as an analogy in an AI and automation conference? Why? Because sports is very distinctively human. You can infuse technology into sports, like my favorite sports, football, where in the Trionda, you now you can charge the ball, and there is a chip inside, and you can, use data to see where the people are going, where the players are going, whether it's offside or whether it crossed the line. But you cannot replace an athlete. I don't think I will enjoy watching a robotic Messi or Ronaldo, None of us will enjoy it. But because you cannot replace an athlete, because there's hard work involved, there's emotions, there's dreams, there's successes, and there's failure. And today, inspired by our athlete Amanda Yap, I will use gymnastics as an analogy. In gymnastics, how many of you are gymnasts? Maybe the younger ones. Older ones, please don't be a gymnast. In gymnastics, you need to launch from a stationary position. I'm not going to try and jump all the way to Emma. Okay, you need to launch. You are stationary, right? After you launch, you need to what? You need to leap. Either do a somersault or you hang or something like that. And after you do that, what do you need to do? Land. Thank you, Suyin. You need to launch from a stationary position, you need to leap, and ultimately you need to land. And Terence and the Automation SG team has indeed launched this conference 3 years ago with PCO, Waiwa, and the SP team. And to launch something, you need to have vision, you need to have boldness, and you need to execute. You need to have execution. It is a distinctively human endeavor. At the national level, we also need boldness, we also need vision, we also need execution. This year, as you know, PM Lawrence Wong announced new national AI missions under the National AI Council to drive AI-led transformation across key economic sectors. And one of these sectors is where all of you are playing a key part in, and that's advanced manufacturing, as one of 4 priority sectors. Here, our national vision is to spur broader adoption of AI, as Terence and Waiwa had mentioned, to build stronger capabilities within the people who are using AI and the companies, to establish globally competitive companies and factories, moving beyond data processing into embodied AI that can sense, that can reason, and can act in the physical world. It's already there, it's already being deployed, we can deploy it quicker, faster, better. But while AI can analyze millions of data points and model possibilities, it cannot choose where we should go, what's the right direction to go. Setting direction and launching initiatives like the one that Automation SG and SP are doing requires human vision, courage, and purpose. But as you launch new initiatives, like the gymnast who is starting from point zero, you need to take that leap of faith to get things done. Again, when you take that leap of faith, you need boldness, and we see this in many of the companies here today. I will just cite a few examples. Like AI Mechatronics, which implemented automated vision inspection systems to replace manual quality checks. And by doing so, they halved their cycle times from 40 to 20 minutes and boosted their labor productivity by 75%. Then there's GroundUp.ai that partnered Wings Group to deploy 100 triaxial sensors across production lines, generating $60,000 in savings by eliminating false alarms and unnecessary stock-ups. These are very practical measures. And also Movable AI, collaborating with MGen Manufacturing Singapore to deploy an autonomous warehouse solution with 2 autonomous mobile robots, saving 4,000 man-hours every single year. Now, these companies took the leap, they innovated, they charted a new direction for their businesses. Government continues to support them as they take this leap. And then after you launch, after you leap, you also, as Su Yin reminded us, you need to land. You just can't hang there all the time. And even as AI becomes more autonomous, on the industrial floor, the need for trust and human integrity becomes even more crucial. This is the point that Terence made very importantly. In traditional automation, trust came from predictability. The exact same input produced the exact same output, almost every single time. So you land on the same spot. But AI is fundamentally different because it learns, it adapts, and evolves. This adaptability, of course, brings tremendous power, but it also brings tremendous unpredictability. And where there is unpredictability, humans naturally feel some risk, some hesitation. An algorithm cannot explain what it's trying to do, its motives. It cannot accept responsibility. It cannot, even if you program it, it cannot care about human safety. It cannot do all of this. That's why AI cannot build trust on its own. AI cannot build trust on it. It doesn't know what trust is. It knows what language model is. It doesn't know what trust is. Trust is not an output that an AI can calculate by software. It comes from humans steering clear boundaries, establishing accountability, and as best as humans can, guarantee safety. That's why, as Terence mentioned, we are launching Automation SG's Trusted Industrial AI Ready Framework. You call it the TIA Ready Framework, and we're going to launch it today. This is an industry-led pathway that helps businesses assess risks, assign clear human accountability, implement controls, and build real evidence for safe deployment. And I wanted to commend at this stage our early adopters and pioneers, JM Vistic Systems and CAD Vision Systems, both long-term strategic partners to SP, for leaping forward to pilot this framework. And to support the rollout of the TIA Ready framework, Automation SG has also developed 2 types of industrial AI literacy training. That's where the partnership between industry and IHL comes to fore. There's two of this. The first is the Tier 1 Industrial AI Literacy Training, which gives students and workers a foundational understanding of AI risks, data protection, and workplace safety. This will be available from October 2026 by SP. Then you have the Tier 2 Industrial AI Enablement Lead Training for engineers and project managers. And this will be focused on governance structures, operational risk management, and regulatory compliance. This is expected to be ready next year, January 2027. And these are very important because as machines provide the capability and the machines get better over time, human integrity provides that trust, that governance, the key items which Terence emphasized in his speech. So to our businesses, keep working with our IHLs, with YY and his team at SP, keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Use this TIA-ready framework to sharpen your competitive edge. But remember that trust and safety, the trust and safety that you build are direct reflections of who you are as humans, and only humans can do that. And to the many students here and job seekers, you are not just, as Terence mentioned, you're not just collecting cards and everything, but think about and continue to embrace the skills that you are picking up today and throughout your life. Even your PCO YY has just completed a master's in sustainability in Cambridge University. Maybe a round of applause. Two of them are wonderful exemplars. So learn wherever you are, learn wherever you go, pick up these new skills. But remember that even as the technical skills that you learn in automation, IoT, and robotics will open doors for you in the future, even if it's already opening doors for you now. But it's your human curiosity, empathy, and drive that will carry you through them. Do that and you will land well. But don't use AI blindly. I don't know whether you all saw an IG video about somebody who read out the AI prompt. That's not AI, in his speech in Parliament, He was saying about his speech, and later he says, frame this in a more empathetic way, and then he carries on. Don't use AI in a blind manner. It can help you, it can augment you, but it requires human intervention, it requires a human touch. Finally, we've talked about launch, leap, and land. Launching well, leaping well, and landing well. And as I close, I also want to talk about leaving. Because I took the opportunity to talk to Terence earlier. I said this is likely my final event with you as advisor to Automation SG, as I move this week from the Ministry of Trade and Industry to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, following the cabinet reshuffle. But I told my MTI colleagues I must come here. I didn't know Prime Minister said, next week you're going to start already. I haven't even said my goodbyes properly, and I haven't really handed over properly. But I thought and I told my team, leave well, do it well, land well. So as we leave, we must leave well. Leave an impact. Leave having built something with people whom you care about, whom you have gone through thick and thin with. Because the first time that I joined Automation SG, and then SMS Gopukun handed over, the first time I met Terence and Suyin and the team was on Zoom, right? It was during the depths of the COVID crisis. I mean, who are they? Cannot see them, Yeah. But over time, as the pandemic subsided, and we got to know each other, we met one another, we strategized, even when things were not going well. Actually, especially when things were not going well, we looked to see how we can transform SIAA to now Automation SG. And this is not, although Terence said this is a lot of it is my work, it's not my work. We sat down in my MTR offices, we looked through, and we came up with something. And what the team has been doing, importantly, is always focusing on one thing. And how do we get our young students involved? How do we make this industry more vibrant? And how do we create more good jobs? So as I leave this particular portfolio, I will do my best in MFA to bring a lot of different people in. But as we leave, and we will inevitably leave, we always have different seasons in our life. We must leave well, we must leave a legacy, and we must leave a good impression. And this is something which AI cannot do. AI cannot say farewell. It's only the human endeavor, human relationships, even in an age of AI and automation. So thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful conference.
Thank you, Mostan. Please kindly remain on stage. Okay, before we're bringing in the next segment, before we do that, just takeaways. Melinda, we heard 3 L's, right?
Yes.
What are the 3 L's?
Launch, leap, and land. I got it?
Okay, you pass. You get a distinction.
Thank you.
But there is a +1. Triple L, launch, leap, land, and live well. And Mostan, we're still going to see you, you know, because we're going to follow you in LinkedIn. Another L.
May I now invite Mr. Terence Teo, PCO, Mr. Saw Bing Hui, Ms. Tan Yen Yen to join Mostan on stage, please.
Today, we're excited to launch Automation SG's trusted industrial AI-ready framework. As mentioned earlier by Mostan, Singapore's first industry-owned readiness certification for companies deploying artificial intelligence in manufacturing, robotics, industrial automation, and operational technology environments. This use case scope recognition pathway supports organizations embracing technology responsibly.
SP has the honor of serving as founding training partner for the Industrial AI and Governance Literacy Program.
Before we proceed, Automation SG again would like to thank the steering committee for 4 months of outstanding work.
Before our guests are the launch mechanisms. Please take your place, and on the count of 3, let's swipe to launch. 1, 2, 3.
AI is already in your factories, your systems, your workflows. Data exposure, unsafe automation, unclear accountability, uncontrolled use. Companies need a practical way to manage AI risk. Not just intent, but evidence. Because trust can no longer be claimed, it must be demonstrated. Introducing the Automation SG Trusted Industrial AI Ready Framework. Managed, governed, ready. Anchored to ISO IEC 42001 TIA, Ready helps companies take the first practical step towards trusted industrial AI. Launching 29 July 2026.
Another round of applause to this launch. Let's pose for a photo moment first. We ask everyone for a photo moment. Our photographers would like to catch this. Everybody, you can also take a picture. Mostan, may we kindly ask you to remain on stage while we ask the rest to go to their seats.
Sorry, Mostan, would you mind taking a step forward? Thank you so much.
Indeed, the TIA Ready framework provides companies a practical starting point to implement AI in a structured and sustainable manner with trust. Remember that.
Emma, allow me to briefly introduce our partners and their collaboration areas. So in our commemoration ceremony today that we've recently signed in Talent and Technology, we are pleased to recognize our partners.
Yes.
Had Vision Systems, Dassault Systems, Global Foundries, SMC and Stoltz Engineering, University Technology Malaysia, and Women in Aviation Singapore chapter.
Together, they support SP's pursuit of developing strength in talent and development and technology, the 2 key pillars underpinning enterprise transformation.
So we would now like to invite the representatives on stage to commemorate these partnerships. Mr. So.
PCO.
Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Azizi bin Mat Yajid, Acting Dean, University Technology Malaysia.
Ms. Mabel Kwan, President, Women in Aviation Singapore Chapter. Ms. Sharon To, Vice President, Dassault Systems.
Mr. Tan Yu Kong, Senior Vice President, Global Foundries. Mr. Stephen Lok, Director of Sales, SMC Singapore.
Mr. Mark Tan, CEO, Stoltz Engineering.
And Mr. Wong Kiet Zi, Executive Director, CAD Vision Systems. May I invite all partners on stage for a group photo. Let's put our hands together to wish great success for these partnerships. Thank you. Mos Tan, PCO, Mr. Stephen Lok, and Mr. Mark Tan kindly remain on stage for the next segment. We invite the rest of the representatives to return to their seats. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now commemorate our long-standing strategic partners, particularly those with whom SP had established co-location labs. We have about over 30 co-location labs in SP. These are partners. When you come to SP, you will visit this co-location and really find out, showcasing how we collaborate with our partners. Academic industry partnerships are integral to SP's missions to deliver practical, industry-aligned learning experience for our students, both the full-time students and our working adults.
So collectively, they bolster talent development for the industry that benefits from a pipeline of industry-relevant, work-ready SP graduates. They also provide access to client networks to foster solution adoption, ensuring our joint efforts are a cornerstone of the national strategic roadmaps for enterprise workforce transformation and enterprise development. I would now like to invite the following representatives of these companies on stage to commemorate these strategic partnerships. Automation SG, JP Industrielagen, Onwa Tech, Semcorp Industries, Shen Hao, Advantech, Advantest, Acrats.
And we also have Aztec, SICK, Siemens Industry Software, Singtel, SME Corporation, Stoltz Engineering, Tech Maven Group, Walpai,
Bosch Rexroth, CAD Vision Systems, Chint Global, Praga Industries, Fox, Jade Engineering, JM Vistech Systems.
Look at that.
Truly a proud moment for SP as we gather all partners for this group photo.
Make sure you take this picture, okay?
Emma will see if you put it on LinkedIn.
Take this picture. This is really a historic moment. Please put your hands together once again to all these partnerships and continued success for everyone.
Right, thank you. We kindly invite all representatives to return to their seats.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you later. Ladies and gentlemen, Mos Tan will now take his leave. We are grateful for his presence and support at today's event. Please join us in thanking him with a warm round of applause. And remember the 3 L's. Thank you, Mos Tan, and we'll see you again. He will be back, right?
Here's hoping. to the keynote segment of the program. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Wong Hong Tso, Chief Financial Officer and Chief People Officer, Silicon Box, to deliver his keynote address, Capability, Capital and Convergence, Engineering Anti-Fragile Organizations for the Intelligent Manufacturing Era.
This keynote examines why the pervading logic of automation, invest in hardware, reduce headcount, fundamentally misjudges where enterprise value now resides. I had quite a chat with him last night as well, and he said he's going to connect the dots. So we'll watch. Mr. Wong, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, everyone. Good morning. So let me see if the clicker is working. Okay. Distinguished guests, fellow practitioners, boys and girls, good morning. Thank you for having me here. When I was asked to deliver this keynote today, my first thought wasn't about what I know. It was about what I have to unlearn. So in finance and accounting, we are well trained that we can recognize the most important assets on balance sheets. It's something that you can depreciate on a schedule. But the reality is, the most valuable assets never appear on a balance sheet, not at all. Machine depreciates, people appreciates. And most companies price it backwards. So today, I'm not going to give you a corporate presentation, nor I'm going to give you a technology showcase. I wish to share a framework, a way of thinking on how to build organizations that is worthy for every human being inside them and thrive in the era that's now upon us. And they are the capabilities of our people. So let me start with what the world is telling us. The World Economic Reports, the Future of Jobs reports, estimates that 92 million jobs will be displaced by 2030. 92 million. That's not a statistics. So putting myself in the shoes of those, it is a father that is thinking about whether he could pay for the daughter's school fees. It is a technician in my factory floor that's wondering the robot arriving next quarter, will it be her replacement or her partner? But here's the interesting part. The same report tells us more. 170 million roles will be created for the very same period. That is a net gain of 78 million jobs creation. So make no mistakes. The questions of our era is not about whether jobs will exist. It is about whether our people will be ready for them. And this is where I like to bring in and frame it in a perspective of an economist. 34 years ago, Gary Becker won the Nobel Prize in Economics for a deceptively simple insight that investment in human beings, their education, their training, their health, obeys the same logic, economic logic, as an investment in physical capital. Why? Because it compounds, it yields returns, and most critically, it appreciates and never depreciates over time. So hold that thought for a moment. Every machine that we deploy in our factory floor start depreciates the moment we install. But every engineer that we upskill, every operator that we cross-train, and every technician that we certify, they all appreciates. Their value to the organization grows for every capability they acquire. And Singapore has long understood this before it becomes fashionable. Our Research, Innovations and Enterprise Plan 2025 committed $25 billion, the largest R&D investments at the point of its announcement, and it ring-fenced $2.2 billion just for talent and human capital. And Skill Futures is not a slogan, it is the national infrastructures for formations of human capital. And this is where Singapore's visions connects to the world stage. The European Union sets the hard target. 60% of all adult trainings every year by 2030. And its Industry 5.0 framework brings it even further. It highlights and redefines the industry competitiveness with 3 key pillars: human centricity, sustainability, and resilience. I want to emphasize human centricity first. It's not throughput, it's not unit cost. So when a city-states and a union of 450 million people lands to the same conclusion that people is the strategy and not the cost line, that's not a coincidence. It is a signal, a very, very strong one. So let me make it a bit more concrete, and I'd like to walk you through how we built it at greenfield level. So Silicon Box, founded in 2021, a unicorn by 2024. We are a chiplet integrations advanced packaging company, operating the world's largest and most advanced panel-level packaging. 73,000 square meters of it, we built it in 11 months here in Singapore, in Tampines. We are closing to ship more than 500 million packaged chips at near perfect yield, and we achieve it at panel scale, 6 to 8 times efficiency compared to wafer level. And that is something that we achieve, and we continue to break our own records every period. But I'm not here to talk about the superiority of our engineering or our technologies, brilliant as our engineers are. But I'm here to highlight an organization design decision. I hold both finance and people roles at Silicon Box, and that's not a quirk of organization designs. It is intentional, because the person who allocates capital must be the same person who delivers capability, because capital without capability does nothing, and nothing at all. So in our factory, as we continue to adopt AI, deploy multiple AI use cases, it is very important that we always have the human in the loop. I think Moss Dunn highlighted that. I think Terence highlighted that as well in their respective speech. And just now you look at the background of this event, you will notice there are many AIs in the picture, but you will also notice the human that are all around that whole AI ecosystems. Why? Because human in the loop of the AI systems is not because it cannot run by its own or run independently, but it is exactly where the learning happens at a human and machine interface, where the breakthrough, the next breakthrough is born. So we are not automating people out. We are automating people up. So AI is an augmentation. It is not a replacement. And we are continuing to grow, and we are approaching 600 people strong, benefiting from a growing STEM talent pool. And Singapore National AI Strategies frames AI as a force of good. It empowers people, it empowers businesses. And our Smart Nation 2.0 make that a national operating systems. So it is very key. We are not just building capacity, we are building capability, we are building talent. And as we unfold our expansions, it is very important to recognize that the most important plan is the talent plan. Yes, there will be the usual suspect of business model, funding plan, technology roadmaps. But without a talent pipeline, a factory is a stranded asset. So having human capital as the investment thesis is very crucial. And here is why we are expanding into Piedmont in northern Italy, not just as supply chain, but as a capability corridor. So our Singapore facilities is where incubations and innovations takes place. And our Italy facilities will scale it for Europe, for its AI infrastructures, for clean energy, for automotive, and many more. The people and knowledge flows both ways, and the rotations happen between sites. What happens is something very magical and powerful. The mode multiplies. And the key is the resilience is structural, not accidental. And here's where I want to invoke a second Nobel Prize winner, Amartya Sen, recognized in 1998, because Sen's capability approach captures what pure return on investment framework misses entirely. We invest in people not only because it generates return. Of course it does. We invest because every worker who gains a new capability gains a new freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to adapt, and the freedom to remain relevant in a world faster changing in any generations before us that we have had to adapt. And we do not think that automation is something that competes with human dignity. Automation creates the conditions where human dignity will flourish. And now, I want to turn on to a words on every CEO and every CFO's whiteboard for many years. Resilience. I used that word a couple of times in my past slides. But here's the challenge. Most of us, myself included, for years, we thought about resilience as robustness. Our ability to absorb shocks and return to original states. That's good. That's necessary, but not sufficient. So in 2012, Nassim Nicholas Taleb gave us a concept which fundamentally changed the way I think about how to architect organizations. He called it anti-fragility. And a system that's anti-fragile does not merely dissolve or survive disorder. It gains from it. It gets better from the very shock that it encounters. And that's anti-fragility. And let me break it down in 3 dimensions. Number 1, financial fragility, anti-fragility. Take our own trajectory as an example. A unicorn under 3 years, the world's largest panel-level packagings built in 11 months, 6 to 8 times efficiencies at near perfectile. We raise capital and deploy capital lean and fast just before we need it. And that is crucial because speeds compound. Every month in advance is a natural hedge to the cycle. The company who moves lean, who moves first, will be able to turn volatility into advantage. And that is a transferable discipline across company. Second, operational anti-fragility. I spoke a lot about 6 to 8 times efficiency, but anti-fragility is not in throughput. It is the dynamism. And when the customers change the design, and in chiplet world, it changes a lot. And our panel-level packaging systems or production line doesn't need the complete retooling for the entire line. We adapt, and we have built a system or built a line that is growing stronger every time the customers throw us a curveball. The last but not least, human anti-fragility. This is where it all connects. Consider this. A line operator, when manual inspection works was automated, and she will be cross-trained in AI-assisted quality control check, and she redeployed to supervise the very systems that replaced her. And that is something that talks about anti-fragile workforce. It's not something that it doesn't meet disruption. It is one that deliberates to face challenges, is one that equipped with through cross-training, through cross-functional rotations, and be able to convert disruptions into growth. And that's the gift of what Singapore ecosystem gives us, the skill futures, the industry transformation map, the RIE framework, and all of it are not just mere policies, they are the national architecture for human anti-fragility. So I will leave you with a set of key imperatives, because it is a shared responsibility for us as leaders and for everyone as employees and learners in the rooms, that we must invest in people like, for leaders, we must invest in people like you invest in the machines. We architect for anti-fragility and not just efficiency. Build optionality, distribute capability, design systems that gains from volatility, because volatility in our industry is not aberration, it is a permanent conditions. Apply capital allocation disciplines, measure the returns, set hurdle rates, but never reduce, and never, I emphasize, reduce a human to a cost line or to a line item. And importantly, think cross-jurisdictionally. The Singapore strategies, the Italy, the European Unions, they are not separate playbook. They are just chapters of the same stories. And leaders who recognize that and build organizations to write it and see the convergence will be leading the next decade advanced manufacturing. For employees, please own your learning as a personal asset. Your capability will appreciate. Treat it as a balance sheet that truly matters, your own balance sheets. Treat every new capability as a compounding capital that you keep in your pocket. Use skill futures, get on certifications. Number two, seek the human-machine interface. Why? Because that's where the learning is richest. That's where your value compounding the fastest. And move towards, the AI in the loop and not away from it. Be in the loop of this whole AI changes. The interface is where breakthrough and growth is born. And last but not least, embrace rotations and complexity. Don't wait for the disruptions to find you. Step forward it. And volunteer for cross-functioners and hard problems. And be able to train yourself in this disruption exposure, because that's how you grow into an individual that is anti-fragile. Over 2.5 decades, one lesson for me stood above all. It is that intelligent manufacturing is not defined by machine it contains, but by the human beings it empowers. That concludes my keynote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. You know, Mel, there's a reason why I really enjoy, maybe we go here. I really enjoy attending these events. You know why? Why? Because it reinforces that what we teach here in Singapore Polytechnic is aligned with what the industry is saying. You know, he talks a lot about automating up, you know, not automating out, so that you can do higher capabilities, strategic higher capability, which is consistent. In Singapore Poly, our pedagogy has to have the element of higher order thinking. He also talked about resilience as anti-fragility, right? Because we talk about resilience all the time. Here in Singapore Poly, we teach our students to become entrepreneurs, right? We teach them to act, reflect, and transform. If you want to know more about what we're talking about here, please sign up for our workshops, our diplomas, because this is exactly what we're talking about here.
And in that spirit, in our next segment, we are pleased to invite Mr. Wong Kiat Zi, Executive Director of CAD Vision Systems, to deliver an industry presentation. Mr. Wong, please.
Morning. Can you hear me? Okay, good morning, greetings, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and indeed it is, I think, my message will dovetail or connect quite nicely with what Mr. Wong Hong Cho just shared about human capital and about how we take advantage of AI, about anti-fragility. I will talk a little bit more about that from a specific angle, which is mainly from the SME's point of view and from the area of leveraging on technology. You know, how do we make technology pay? This is something that is a topic that has been following me, that I have grown more and more interested about, curious about, and lately I think more like a mission, because I've seen a lot of SMEs over the years that have faced lots of challenges in what I call taming their technology, you know, managing their technology and learning how to really make it pay. My name is Kiat Zi. I'm from CAD Vision Systems. Now, over the last 35 years, I've had the opportunity to work through quite a lot of technology waves. I guess you probably will remember the days of ERPs, MES, PLMs, the internet. We went through all that, right? Now, every technology wave comes with a promise. Every time we see the latest and greatest technology, it's always, hey, you can gain, you know, greater productivity. You can gain, make better decisions. But through all this, right, there is one constant that I have observed. While technologies keep changing, challenges often do not. The challenge that companies face remain there. How to use the technology, how to train people on it, how to maximize their productivity. What do I mean by challenge? Well, technology never waits for us, right? All these technologies that I have mentioned, whether it's ERP or MES, Industry 4.0, and now AI, they've all arrived with the same promise, right? As I mentioned, higher productivity and all that. But when ERPs were first introduced, for example, right? Oops, sorry. When ERPs were first introduced, it was the latest and greatest thing. But for the SMEs, I have observed that it took probably a good 10, 15 years for all SMEs to be able to adopt an ERP. The lesson here is what? Every wave also exposes some uncomfortable truth, that technology often moves faster than skills needed to operate, maintain them, and scale it. As you can see in this graph, this is from a Deloitte study. So I think everybody, all the speakers before, even Terence and Mostan, mentioned all this as well, right? It's all about talent. It's all about human capital. So one of the reasons why making your technology work isn't as easy is because there's always this gap between technology advancement and our ability to operate, maintain, and scale it. Now, that is one angle, the people angle. The other part of the story is, again, the managing that technology, right? How do you make full use of that technology? Most companies don't struggle because they bought the wrong technology. More often, they struggle because they never connected the technology to the business process. And that brings us to my second challenge, a rather bumpy journey, right? Buying technology is easy, making it work, not that easy. Most companies invest in technology for very sensible reasons, right? To increase productivity, lower your cost, improve quality, or reach new markets. But many, especially SMEs, struggle to see return. Why? Because the technology is not aligned with the business process, the existing systems, or the people who must use it every day. So let me outline 3 major themes that represent the common challenges that companies face, especially SMEs, in harnessing these technologies. First is what I call the technology treadmill. As I've already alluded to, you've heard of all the 3-letter acronyms, right? The TLAs, MES, the ERPs, and the I4.0s. AI is the only one that doesn't have 3 letters. So for many leaders, we can feel trapped in what I call this technology treadmill, right? Because the new tool appears before the previous one has been stabilized. And then another dashboard, another platform, another promise. So the question cannot simply be, what is the latest technology we can buy, or which one suits me best? I think the better question to ask is, which technology helps us achieve the business outcome we care about? The second issue is what I call islands of automation. Now, we all invest in technologies, especially companies in Singapore. We know technology is important, and so we invest in them. But quite often, they are not connected. And what I normally hear is they don't talk to each other. So on paper, everything looks digital. In reality, people are still exporting files, connecting spreadsheets, rekeying information, and then wondering why the robot is idle, excuse me, or why the MES dashboard is not trusted. So the issue is not always the tool. Very often, it is missing connection between tools, process, and people. Now, let me give you a typical example. A customer once asked us to showcase our MES solution because they are facing part number variations, a lot of it, at their workshop, at their shop floor, and they want to try and automate it better. But when, of course, being curious people, we ask, why do you need to do this? Why? We want to understand the reason behind it. And we discovered that the problem wasn't on the shop floor. It started much earlier during the design cycle, where the placeholder part numbers were created before If you can see maybe number 2 there, create placeholder part numbers for quotation. So placeholder part numbers were created, and then, for some reason, it flows through to the workshop before the part numbers were able to be approved. So we realized that we weren't dealing with a manufacturing problem. We were dealing with a business process issue. Sophisticated MES could automate the symptoms, of course, right? But the more permanent solution was to fix the root cause upstream. So this example illustrates a very simple principle for me. Before we automate, we need to slow down long enough, take a good long look at the business process, understand your root causes, and then figure out the solution. Otherwise, we may be only making the wrong process faster, or as my ex-colleagues like to point out, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Now, okay, I understand this is a bit of a crowded screen, but I would like to illustrate this with a system architecture diagram for a precision engineering company. This is an example of aggregated precision engineering workshop with mixed equipment. What you see on the first 3 layers, they are they operate on planned data, right? The lower layers 4, 5, and 6, they operate on or they generate actual data. Now the broken lines here tell the main story. The key here is how do you connect all these systems together, right? And a lot of times, of course, when I go into many companies, we look at the systems that are in place or installed. The most common question I get is, how do I connect this system to the other one? So from this diagram, you can see 2 things. One is the systems need to be connected, but they don't always get connected correctly, right? Secondly, if you look at, say, for the ERP, the MES, and the scheduler, they are working on planned data. If they are not properly connecting to the layers 4 to 6, where the equipment are, where the actual data is being generated, and there's no feedback loop, then your layers 2, especially the scheduler and the planner behind it, you guys are running blind, right? Because there's no feedback. So that's one area, that's one problem. The other challenge is this last box here at the bottom right corner. Tribal knowledge, I call it, right? We know that a lot of these knowledge, they don't always exist in the systems. How do you capture knowledge that is in people's heads? And this is where the other part of the challenge comes in, when your operators or your shifu or your sifu, right, in the shop floor, they are the ones that know which fixtures, which tool and fixture combination chatter the most after 100 parts, which machine vibrates more, which tools wear out faster, things like that. Although we are now beginning to capture them with AI these days, but still, there's a lot of this type of knowledge that are not captured. So it's one thing to connect systems, right? But how do you connect knowledge together? So I hope this shows you a pattern. Very often systems don't talk to each other, as I often hear my customers say, for 2 reasons. We do not analyze the root cause and the end-to-end business process before selecting the system. Second, we don't check early enough whether the new system can exchange useful data with existing IT and OT systems. Okay, so third, we go to the silent resistance. This is the people factor. It rarely sounds like resistance at first. It sounds reasonable. The system has too many steps. The old method is faster, boss. We are also used to it already. When we have more time, we will use the new system. How many of you have heard this before? I see a few people grinning. Yes. And For the rest of you, let me ask a very pointed question. How many of you have said that to your bosses before? Okay, nobody. It looks like everybody here is very forward-thinking. Behind those comments, though, seriously, are often very real concerns. Fear of job loss, lack of confidence, low interest in upskilling, or simply not understanding how transformation connects to the business plan, right? And here I just picked out a couple of statistics from the Global Manpower Barometer 2026, very recent, and the National Business Survey 2025. If you look at the 27% low workforce interest, compare that to lack of management expertise. Okay, so the question is this: is it low interest in your people getting upskilled, or is it management not being able to explain and get the staff to come along in this transformation journey? So for me, I think this is two sides of the same coin. This is another statistic that I gathered, and the one I highlighted, the 31%, speaks exactly the same thing. Difficulty in getting staff appropriately skilled on one side. On the other side, getting them aligned with the transformation plans. So I do think that if we want to get this right, if we want to increase our competitiveness and truly know how to leverage technology, we need to do both. Okay, let's pause for a quick recap. So far, we have identified the two peaks I mentioned. One is the talent technology gap. The other one is a transformation gap, right? Together, these are the twin peaks that companies, especially SMEs, must overcome if they want to compete globally. And here's the thing, these two peaks are connected. If you train the people but give them fragmented systems, performance will suffer. If you give them a perfect system but forget the people, adoption will fail. So these two things are connected. Okay, so in my experience of working with many companies, I have tried to distill down 5 key disciplines that I think customers can adopt in order to leverage and get the most out of their technology. First, understand your core challenges. Distinguish the systems from root cause, as I mentioned earlier, and prioritize solutions that address the real problem, not just the visible pain point. And I know often with organization dynamics and all that, it is very tempting to just address the symptoms. Second, define the document and document your core business process, right? As I've also shown earlier in the example, where problems arise through the process, through the business process, and often we don't catch it in time. Third, ensure your systems are integrated or at least interoperable. By that, I mean that, what people say, my systems don't talk to each other. That's what we need to assess upfront as early as possible when we choose the technology that we want to invest in. Fourth, check your scalability. Ask what happens when the system must support more users, more machines, more departments, or more locations. A pilot that cannot scale is not yet a transformation. And then fifth, invest in organizational readiness. I think this is really key. Technology succeeds only when leaders, process, and people know how to use it, manage it, and improve it over time. So let me now bring this, Let me now bring this to how we in CAD Vision Systems apply these principles. Yeah, we are just an SME, we can't solve all the problems, but we do see it quite clearly among all our customers. As a technology enabler serving engineering and manufacturing companies across industries, we are positioned to help bridge both the technology gap and the talent gap. So for those of you who may not know CAD Vision Systems, perhaps this is a good time for me to do a quick introduction. The easiest way for me to describe what we do is this. We are engineers serving fellow engineers, meeting their engineering challenges. Now you will ask, what kind of engineering challenges? Well, we're proud to be a partner of SolidWorks, or Dassault Systems SolidWorks, who provide the best-in-class technologies for engineering, especially in mechanical, electrical, simulation, etc. So any engineering activity, from design all the way to manufacturing, there's probably a solution somewhere from our technology partners. And the one thing I would highlight is this thing, the last one, world-class integrated solutions. So again, the key here for us is whatever solution we introduce, they must be integrated. They must be able to talk to one another, right? And they must be proven, they must be scalable, etc., as what I've mentioned earlier. Where do we deploy our solutions? In all these industries? As you can probably see, mostly transportation, mobility, aerospace and defense, marine and offshore, life sciences, industrial equipment. These are usually our playground. Okay, so with that, let me show you how we put all these things together, all the principles that I mentioned earlier. Now, when I talk about integration, sometimes it means different things to different people, but think of it as a digital thread, where you start with a concept and the designing of whatever product you're trying to create, right? And you validate them through simulation. Once you're ready, you may want to do electrification, design automation, your technical documentation in those apps over there. And then, of course, when you're ready to do manufacturing, you can go into CAM, you can go into all the various manufacturing technologies, and automated QC. So all these applications or systems work together as a single digital thread. No recreating, no converting of files, right? They transition seamlessly from one to another. And then finally, all these things must be able to connect to your ERP and your MES, which I'm happy to say our ERP and MES are very integrated as one unit, right? And it is able to receive information, mechanical data like your bill of material information directly from SolidWorks. So the key, again, I'm trying to highlight is all these things are integrated. They talk to each other seamlessly. No conversions ready. And finally, and probably most importantly, your IP is all managed and connected through the PLM. Okay, so this is an example of how we at CAD Vision Systems try to put in place or practice this discipline. Okay. Now, let's go to the talent gap. What I've addressed earlier is a transformation for the SMEs. Now, let's talk about the people side, right? To close this gap, I believe we need to think beyond training courses. We need to look at the full readiness journey, from technology readiness to workforce readiness, and eventually education readiness. The normal sequence is slow and, of course, sequential. Software becomes ready first, then documentation catches up. The vendor training is created only after that can the schools translate the material into instructor guides, lab exercises, case studies, capstone projects, etc. By the time the education system is ready, or fully ready, I should say, the industry may already be looking at the next technology wave, as many of us are probably experiencing right now with the advent of AI. So that's why we see our work with institutes of higher learning, such as Singapore Polytechnic, as so important. The objective is not simply to expose students to software features. The idea is for us to become educationally ready in parallel with getting the workforce ready. IHLs are often best placed to teach the deeper principles, the assumptions, the underlying standards. So at the same time, pedagogy also needs to be closely aligned with industry case studies, while lab exercises and tools are updated or developed together with technology partners like us. So the question is not only how do we train more people, perhaps the more relevant question is how do we minimize this readiness gap? What if we could overlap the stages? Technology partners, schools and industry may not have the luxury to wait for one stage to finish before training the next. But what if we can be more efficient by moving in parallel? And if I may be so bold as to say, what if we were able to function almost like a different department of the same organization, working towards the same capability outcome? Just food for thought. Now, if you notice, the bars for workforce readiness and educational readiness extend all the way. So even after the workforce becomes ready, we recognize that work continues on, right? The readiness, we are continuing to evolve and put material and classes and certifications in place for people to continue in that process. Next, sandbox-style environments through industry IHL partnerships, such as the AMLJ at Singapore Polytechnic. They help accelerate that readiness gap by giving educators, students, and companies a lower risk space to test their best practices before full industry deployment. Professional certification then will give the ecosystem a common way to assess whether capability has been built consistently. So this is right here in Singapore Polytechnic. Do go and visit it if you haven't. For existing staff, we advocate combining structured classroom training with in-app micro-learning to combat the forgetting curve. These are focused online modules that take just 5 to 30 minutes, and they're accessible within the application that the engineers are using. The instructor-led training builds foundation. Micro-learning reinforces it in the flow of daily work. So this shortens the learning cycle and helps compress the workforce readiness stage that I showed in my previous slide. Once the learning cycle becomes shorter, the next step is connecting trained talent to real industry work more quickly. Through the SolidWorks Skillforce program, as we announced earlier, interns receive commercial SolidWorks licenses and demonstrate competency through the CSWA certification. This allows them to contribute productively during their internships, while the experienced staff can focus on upgrades, migration projects, and higher skill work. So hopefully, as the previous speakers have also mentioned, the goal is to rise with the technology. Now, some talent gaps require highly targeted solutions. For example, in precision engineering, training new CAM programmers or machine operators can be very costly. I'm sure some of you know this very well, especially in advanced machining involving multi-axis CNC machines. Here we see a very specific training challenge. Learning advanced CNC machining is expensive. Machine time is limited, and beginners may be afraid of making costly mistakes. Now, because machines are limited, students often have limited hands-on experience and machine time. So, what we have done, because machine time is very limited, we decided to introduce a virtual twin of CNC machines. Notice the top left corner there, where the digital twin works very in tandem with the actual machine. So this emulates how the machine works, right? These are realistic machine-specific and controller-specific digital CNC machines that allows students to practice programming and operations safely before moving to the actual machine. Now, for those of you who have had experience in teaching machining, you will notice that students do find it challenging or intimidating, standing in front of the machines. And of course, the time they have in front of the machines are limited. So what this does is it gives students now a chance to practice safely, as you can see here, rows and rows of these virtual twins, allowing students to practice digitally before they move on to the actual machines. So that gives us, that enables us to have a three-stage learning path. First, theory in the classroom. Second, safe practice on the digital twin. And third, confident execution on the real machine. The biggest benefit to me is not just lower cost. With more practice hours on the digital twin, students gain more confidence and a stronger sense of mastery over the machine and the tools. That is how we move from simply transferring knowledge to building capability and confidence. And even more critically to me, it's always very exciting when you see a student's eyes light up with that passion. So let me conclude by returning to our theme. We talked about the two challenges, the talent gap and the transformation gap. I've also shared the 5 practical disciplines that can help organizations navigate through these challenges. The key for those 5 disciplines is they are very straightforward, actually, but they require discipline and consistency in execution. For companies embarking on transformation, my key point is this, and this reminds me of what the speakers earlier mentioned, Mr. Wong and even Moss Tan. Does everything that you're doing here in trying to master technology, right? Does it improve your competitiveness, your margins, your resilience, your anti-fragility, to borrow the term from Mr. Wong earlier? If the answers are not clear, then perhaps it's a good time to think about the strategy, because ROI will of course be uncertain if we are not able to answer these questions. At CADVision Systems, we try to demonstrate these principles by building integrated and interoperable engineering solutions, and by working with technology partners, schools, trade associations, and the industry to develop the talent pipeline needed to use them effectively. From education readiness all the way to commercial readiness, the entire journey. And to our ecosystem partners, technology providers, schools, associations, and companies, I certainly hope we continue to work together through platforms like this. These gaps cannot be closed by one party alone. They require a shared understanding, practical collaborations, and collective solutions. Now, if there's one thing I'd like to leave you with is this, the 3 Ps. Technology only pays when it is connected to people, process, and purpose. Thank you very much for your attention. And,
Thank you so much, Mr. Wong. Do check out the CADVision Systems booth outside. Last but not least, for this segment, we would like to invite Mr. Dilip K. Narayanan, Director of Strategic Initiatives from DFE Tech. Mr. Narayanan, please.
Good morning, everyone. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to be here, meeting all of you, sharing experiences, interacting with colleagues. It's a very exciting time to be here. Now, let me just introduce DFE Tech. We are a 20+ years old company with offices in ASEAN and US. We are coming from automotive crash background with a lot of manufacturing simulation experiences. We offer our customers as seamless integrated digital engineering solutions. Many times customers are confused about all these various components, what they have to use or what they have to invest. Many times, as the previous speaker said, you invest in the technology, but integrating that with other solutions, other systems may not happen usually. So we, as a technology provider, we offer software, we offer services, we also offer consulting. And many times we help customers to do digital engineering and transformation. Now, to deliver these technologies, we represent many technology companies from various parts of the world. ANSYS is one of our biggest partners. At the same time, we also work with many other technology providers from Korea, from China, from Europe, different parts of the world. We work with the cutting-edge engineering companies. There are many companies from Singapore also here in the list. We also work with many car OEMs. As you can see from the region and beyond, we work with many technology companies in this area. Now, let me come to the subject matter here. I'm sure you probably would have heard about this dark factory. The automation going in a direction where a full factory without any humans, probably. It's already happening. It's already producing things in different parts of the world. So I just want to run a video. This has come out of Xiaomi some time back, which is essentially talking about how do you automate everything, whether it is robotic arms, or whether it's material movement, or whether it is packaging. Almost everything is automated in such a way that it's a kind of a dark factory. Nobody need to be there in the factory. So is it the direction where our automation is going? I'm not sure, but probably various levels of automation we may be implementing in our company, our manufacturing plants. It may not be 100% completely automated, but it may be a portion of it probably. But essentially to build this kind of a technology factory, we require certain kind of systems and processes. We are talking about real multi-physics simulation. We are talking about high-performance computing. We may require cloud and artificial intelligence also. These are the various components which is actually going to help you to design some systems like that. Now, if you want to really go deeper into this system, this kind of development, you can see there are so many boxes here to cover. So there are many technology areas and skill sets you need to learn to do the whole thing. I don't have time, or the 15 minutes I have right now, I cannot go through all of it. But I'm going to show you few key technologies, very specifically, which is coming from ANSYS, which is part of Synopsys now. The portfolio of ANSYS covers almost everything, like various physical robotic development. There are embedded softwares behind the scene. There are digital twin. There is also AI, new AI things. I'm going to show you a few of the things, actually. Now, if you really wanted to go to the design of a robotic arm, let us say, or a material movement system, a conveyor system or something, yes, there are many types of solutions. One of our very strong technology providers is Recordine, which is essentially can actually help us to design a robotic arm. I would request you to visit our booth and probably we'll be able to take you through this, the role of simulations and various development steps which is required for the development of a robotic system. Now, the same system can actually cover many other things, which is essentially cover the whole part of the, a completely integrated factory. Now, ANSYS has come out with the AI system, which is essentially going to make the whole process of development much, much faster. I'm going to play a small video about this.
By combining world-class simulation with artificial intelligence, ANSYS is accelerating the science of innovation. Imagine using previously simulated results to train your AI algorithms. Imagine AI-powered solutions reliably predicting your product's performance in minutes, not hours. ANSYS Sim AI is cloud-enabled, physics-neutral, and ready to accelerate the future of engineering. ANSYS GPT is your virtual assistant, ready to answer your ANSYS product questions, available 24/7. ANSYS AI Plus extends the performance of our industry-leading applications. Transforming simulation at the speed.
So, as you can see, AI has brought simulation much more faster, much more options, much more efficiency, a lot more optimum design. Now, all these systems literally require a lot of safety related processes. Now, one of the important thing about any embedded software used in this kind of systems is all about safety. If the system is not strong enough, it will end up in some catastrophe. Now, ANSYS has actually come out with a software for this one. It's called SCADE. It's essentially certified by many safety agencies.
The most innovative companies in the world
used in all these kind of systems.
use ANSYS SCADE to accelerate their embedded software development. When safety and performance are equally imperative, when certainty is the absolute standard, when speed to market means everything. As the complexities of advanced systems steadily increases, embedded software plays a critical role in delivering safe and reliable performance.
So essentially, this is the software developer without human involvement.
Traditional coding methods are inefficient,
C code
time-consuming, and expensive,
from the schematic diagram,
bringing ambiguity and inaccuracy into your design process. The high cost of coding errors is incredibly burdensome, forcing companies to invest heavily on debugging and verification, triggering delays in getting your products to market. With ANSYS SCADE, these problems are all resolved. From the architecture and design of embedded controls, to mission systems engineering, and human-machine interfaces, to qualified code generation. ANSYS SCADE ensures an efficient model-based process for designing and verifying software at the earliest stages, with automatic code generation, tight system integration, and full end-to-end traceability. Easily merged with your existing product development workflows, SCADE automatically reduces both the cost and time traditionally spent on verification. Certified for key safety and interoperability standards across multiple industries, ANSYS SCADE is an all-in-one, end-to-end platform, setting the standard for complex systems and software engineering, reducing your development costs, providing reliability you can measure, delivering safety-critical software 2 times faster than your competition. It's all systems go for your systems design with ANSYS SCADE.
So the next technology I'm talking about is digital twin. Why do you need a digital twin? If you want to go for a preventive maintenance or predictive maintenance, a digital twin of a factory is essential so that you can let the factory run without a downtime. Now, this is a digital twin from ANSYS.
The digital twin has arrived. A virtual representation of a connected physical asset made possible by combining advanced simulation and analytics. Right now, digital twins can predict the future, providing preventive maintenance, optimizing performance, and avoiding product failures. ANSYS Twin Builder makes all this a reality by connecting the power of simulation with real-world operations. Twin Builder offers a complete approach to build, validate, and deploy simulation-based digital twins in the cloud or on edge. First comes build. Twin Builder combines the speed of system-level simulation with the accuracy of 3D physics solvers and allows the reuse of existing components through reduced order modeling. ANSYS Twin Builder quickly embeds performance information, cutting run times from weeks to hours. Second is to validate, combining multi-domain systems simulation capabilities with systems validation and optimization. Third, it's time to deploy. Twin Builder creates simpler, highly sophisticated models for real-time deployment. Combining ANSYS simulation and your in-house data yields highly accurate and useful results. The proof and promise of this technology is remarkable. Twin Builder's success in predicting turbine stresses saved a utility more than $100,000 a year in avoiding unplanned outages. Twin Builder accurately analyzed the thermal behavior of a manufacturer's motors within milliseconds, not days. Twin Builder speeds the shift to zero carbon by controlling industrial processes, anticipating carbon reduction options, and lowering maintenance costs. The digital twin has arrived in a big way, connecting rapid, reliable system simulations and real-time, real-life operations. Build, validate, and deploy simulation-based digital twins.
We also partner with ZW3D, one of our CAD software partner. So through all these solutions, we provide our customers an integrated digital engineering process with the various components and various technology suppliers. Request you to visit our booth, understand more about it, ask your questions. We may be able to explain things more. Please meet us in our booth. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Narayana. Now stay with me because we're going to move into our panel discussion, building a future-ready enterprise from cautious hiring to capability-led growth. So hiring freezes feel prudent but carry real risk. In an age of automation and digitalization, companies pulling ahead invest in capabilities, not just headcount. Our panel will explore how organizations can redesign roles, embed upskilling into culture, and build talent pipelines that keep pace with Industry 4.0. It is my pleasure to introduce our panelists today, Ms. Tan Yen Yen, Deputy Principal Development, Singapore Polytechnic, Ms. Samantha Su, Director Digital Transformation Cluster, IMDA, Dr. Mok Hon Yong, Founder, Chief Strategy Officer, Onwa Tech and Alterpax, and may I add, our very own SP alum, and Ms. Pearlene Chia, Senior Director, HR Business Partner, APEC Manufacturing and Singapore Site Global Foundries. Last but not least, it is my privilege to introduce our moderator and my co-host, Ms. Emma Meyer, Senior Manager, Business Innovation Center, as moderator today. Thank you.
Okay, what a morning it has been, right? Remember we talked about this, we're gonna go with the flow. We know we're slightly overrun, but it's okay. We're gonna keep it very interesting, sharp, but very, very thorough and interesting as well. We're building on the conversation that's already been set up for us. Mostan, Terence Teo, and of course the fantastic keynote speakers just now. Our topic, building a future-ready enterprise from cautious hiring to capability-led growth. This is interesting because they keep talking about technology, people, human capital, and then we shock you with cautious hiring. So what does that mean, right? Together, we will explore what this means from the lens of the industry, the SMEs, the government, and of course, education. Before we move on to the questions proper, may I invite each panelist to briefly introduce your organization and perhaps the perspective that you will bring to today's session, where we have 45 seconds to a minute. This is like an elevator pitch somewhat. Perlin, you bring in the perspective of leading semiconductor industry. We've heard so much about Global Foundry. This was this talk about, also they came up here for the MOU. We're working with you through a full AI fluency training through our data science center as well. Please start off by sharing how Global Foundries is building a future-ready enterprise and the role of workforce capability in making it possible. And you know this so well because you're leading the charge for the last 26 years you mentioned, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, so yeah, to fellow panelists, the distinguished guests. Yeah, my name is Perlin Chia. I'm the HR director at Global Foundries Singapore. So yeah, with what Emma has introduced, yes, I'm actually kind of working with the leaders on capability building, especially for the future of semiconductor manufacturing. So briefly, introducing Global Foundries. Global Foundries is actually a top 4 pure play foundry that we actually delivers differentiated essential chips that actually powers kind of billions of devices like smartphones, automotives, kind of like the AI data centers, and of course our kind of industrial IoT. So I will just quickly go through what sets us different, right? It's not just the technology, it's not just our global manufacturing footprint, because we have like manufacturing plants in 3 continents, but also at the same time it's talking about people. It's our people that actually pushes our technology forward, you know, through our innovation, and also kind of making sure that we deliver the outcomes, the business, you know, to actually kind of, for our 200 customers that we have worldwide, they rely on every day. So just to give a little bit of illustration about, you know, how people capability that we have built, we have also earned recognition. So Global Foundry Singapore is actually a part of the Global Lighthouse Network. This is actually under the World Economic Forum. And also this is on productivity that we have won a recognition. At the same time, we are also a great place to work. Thanks to the people giving us feedback. This is already the 5th year running, and also multiple award winners in terms of workforce transformation from WSG, as well as the employee excellence. So people is actually the foundation of everything we build. That's what they are. They make Global Foundries.
Thank you so much, Perlin. And I know this because every time I go to LinkedIn, I follow Global Foundries, another award again. Okay. You bring in that MNC perspective. We're bringing in Dr. Mok to bring in the SME perspective, because Dr. Mok is truly the embodiment of a true SME that has embraced innovation as a long-term business strategy. Dr. Mok, can you share what Tech's transformation journey has been like, and how you've adopted technology as a practical and business way.
Thank you. So I'm from Mok, Awatech. So basically we are a local enterprise servicing the semiconductor back-end precision tooling we design and manufacture. So over the last 18 years, we have been doing what we are so-called on our core products, and then we are very focused. So as you can see, some of the charts that we show, actually tech adoption is, we have to be practical, and then of course it must deliver. So of course, when we are ready, that means in terms of downturn, upturn, we are ready for the opportunity. So of course, we are very lucky to speak before, even after the speakers, a lot of answers are already there. So basically, our human, operations, and technology must move at the same pace. So it's more on human empowerment, so that actually we can bring in new tools to our company to actually make our people to deliver higher value of work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mok. That is music to our ears. You know that, Berlin, right? When you hear a tech guy, a strategic guy talking about people. And we bring in, of course, the very important piece of this whole ecosystem is, of course, the government. Samantha, you represent IMDA's Enterprise Transformation and Innovation Group. And I know in SP we work very closely with you with our 5G AIoT. Many leaders know that they need to transform. I mean, we've heard this all morning. It's obvious. But sometimes people are still quite unsure where to begin. From your perspective, what distinguishes organizations that achieve lasting business transformation from those that simply adopt technology?
Thank you, Emma. So good afternoon, everyone. That's a very difficult question, but we will try and unpack it. So good afternoon, my name is Samantha. I'm the director in the Enterprise Transformation and Innovation Group. If you do not know, IMDA, we are a government stat board. We do have 3 key mandates. So people usually remember us as the super fierce agency or the super friendly one, right? But actually we're all. So our first mandate is really to regulate and to protect the industries. So we regulate sectors like our telcos, for instance, which is why we're very interested in 5G and stuff like that. We do protect a lot of the data, how data is being used by organizations. So we have a lot of governance framework, Personal Data Protection Act as well. We also look at helping companies to, to enable and empower Singaporeans, the Singapore workforce, and we do that from end to end. So we work with IHLs like Poly to reach out to students as well. So they can be very young kids. We have programs like Coding for Fun, or we train, give guidance to seniors so that they can use digital as well. And of course, the last mandate that we have is to look at enterprises. How do we transform them? How do we enable the companies so that they can innovate and grow? So where I come from is actually at the last pillar, but we work very closely across because the impact has to be holistic. So to answer your question, very briefly, which I'll share later on, what we see actually, we do need to focus on 3 key areas when we talk about transformation. One, obviously, is the leadership mindset. And I think that is very important to all the companies and the leaders here today. The second is about building confidence. And I think many of our companies' presentation earlier, building confidence is mentioned many, many times. How do you do the AI transformation? And of course, lastly, to build your internal capabilities. How do you control what you guide your organizations towards? How do you enable your staff, your workforce to do that? So I think if you see the slide above, we always encourage companies to talk to all of us in IMDA. That picture there is just part of my group. There's some officers there, and they like to quote me when I always say these 3 phrases, which I'll explain more later, about thinking big, start small, but you scope your projects well. So we can discuss that later. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. And I can attest that IMDA is friendly, not fierce. We have not experienced the fierce side, and we don't want to. And what better person to talk about all this work that we are doing here as IHL to work with government, with SMEs, MNC, is Ms. Tan Yen Yen, who is our Deputy Principal for Development, who will speak to us about how SP brings together learning, industry, and innovation to help companies transform with exactly what Samantha had said, with confidence. Yan, please.
Thank you, Emma. And on behalf of SP, I want to welcome all our industry partners. And really to build on the role of SP as a IHL, we are actually the node, actually, in terms of bringing in partners like industry, like yourselves, our government agencies, our trade associations, and all that is really to build the talent pipeline for Singapore. And if you look at it, we have a very unique value proposition to the industry. And that's what we call our SP CWT program, Company and Workforce Transformation. So I think many of industry leaders seated here, you are probably wondering where to tap on AI to bring your industry to the next level. And that is really involving needs analysis, strategic road mapping. But with that kind of leadership, then how are you going to get the workers to come along, the human capital to be developed? And that's where training and talent piping actually comes about. So this SPCWT framework brings together our 10 schools and 13 centers that SP has, cross-cutting across engineering, 5G, human capital, sustainability, and so forth. And I think what I would really hope in today's session is to really create a lot more partnerships, private, public partnerships, to be able to give and create opportunities for our students and to uplift industry capability. Thank you.
Thank you, Yan. And as I've said, the partnership part is really something that we embrace in SP. Perlin, let's start with you. You talk a lot about this during our pre-discussion call. What separates a company that is merely keeping up with change from one that is genuinely future ready, which is very much what Global Foundries is about?
Yeah, it's a tough question, but probably I'll just kind of answer to what we are doing at GF. So future readiness, probably to GF, is really to, as what Yan has also pointed out, integration and bringing together is not just a separate kind of transformation as a separate entity or initiative. We actually have to bring together our operations, our technology, our people, in it. So that's why, and also at the same time, while we see changes, we cannot pause business just to transform. We still need to deliver every day. Yeah. And at the same time, we can see that it's changing. I mean, we are having digital manufacturing, AI, automation, that is already changing how we get work done. So that's where, at the same time, we need to reskill, upskill, and also making sure that our people are able to be evolved with it. It's not just adopting a new technology anymore. Yeah, it's the people, it's the getting them to be future ready. So for instance, just quote an example that at GF, besides partnering with SP, launching the digitalization workshop, we are also, we have actually launched a Ignite AI journey. This is something that we are actually building AI fluency at scale through, a lot of hands-on workshop, co-pilot learning, and especially using the work-based cases, right, to actually problem solve. So that will also enable our employees to look at, applying AI into their day-to-day work. It's not just learning AI in theory. So that helps to kind of build the future readiness and upskill for the workforce.
So it's really about driving a learning culture, isn't it? Yeah. So, I mean, how many people have we trained in SP for our AI fluency training?
We are not there yet, but yes, 50%,
About 2,000, you said?
Yeah, in Singapore, because we have a 4,000 workforce.
How many people you have in Singapore?
4,002.
So 50% of their employees have already been trained on AI fluency. I think that deserves an applause, don't you think so? So Samantha is looking out for you. Later on, there's like, okay, give you more support. Thanks, Perlin. Wearing the Tauke hat, Dr. Mok, I'm looking at you. What do you think keeps business leaders awake today? Because why there's a lot of successes, just like Global Foundries, there's also a lot of people stumbling blocks, right? We've talked a lot about, Samantha talked about mindset, about having to sustain all these changes. What do you think keep business leaders awake today when they think about growth, productivity, and transformation? You talk in your infographic, you reference ROI. Is ROI the only thing that keeps business leaders awake at night?
Of course, this is one of the core problems we face. Of course, I believe the common problems now, I believe, is on the rising costs, limited talent pool. So if all of us face this problem, for us is how can we treat them differently? So of course, for us, based on the earlier infographics, it's more on every investment needs to make sense. And then basically we are only looking into two things, either to save costs or to have the capacity to do more. So of course, ultimately is how can we be ready? So like I mentioned, is we are equipping our human with the right tools to perform and then hoping that we can capture the right opportunity when the right times comes arise. Yeah.
Very well said, which reminds me to what Mr. Wong had said earlier from Silicon Box. He said, whoever brings in the capital delivers the capabilities, right? Samantha, let's talk about the government ecosystem. Your work in IMDA focuses on helping enterprises, although you just mentioned earlier also the younger ones, right? To turn digital ambition into business transformation. And we know many organizations, they invest, they avail of grants, but they don't always realize the expected business outcome. Why do you think that happens, and how does IMDA help enterprises avoid that trap?
Well, okay, so my group over the last 2 years, we have spoken to about 1,002 companies from different industries, manufacturing, of course, with other sectors, services, and all that. And I think there are 3 key areas which I kind of touched on earlier that we take to help companies avoid pitfalls. One is, like what Dr. Mo said, leadership mindset is important. So we make an intentional effort to help many of our business leaders to think about what is digital transformation. We bring them through a accelerator boot camp to think about the hard and soft parts of digital transformation. And we walk the journey with the companies together with partners or tech experts to see how they may scope a real problem statement for their business that they would like to address first. So usually companies, they want to do too many things, 1,001 things to solve. So what we encourage them to do is to identify one critical area to start first. And we scope that project well with the companies and see what goes into doing AI transformation. What kind of processes do they need to put in place? What kind of, it's not just about the technology, it's also about the processes, like one of our speakers said earlier, the people, the whole entire organization. So once they realize what they need to do a small project, then they can think about scaling it up. So that's where then let's pull in the entire organization to be upskilled. Do they need to invest in hiring a digital team? Do they need to bring an AI expert on board to sustain their efforts? So I think for many SMEs, they don't have 4,000 people, but they do have a workforce that needs to be looked after. So that's where we need to see how we can work with partners like Singapore Poly to how to bring the technologies to the companies and help them dissect, unpack, and bring them through the implementation. So we have a lovely partnership with SP, particularly in the areas of autonomous mobile robots. Fantastic collaboration because SP bring our companies through the whole tech discovery, identifying use case, and implementation. So I think companies need to think about these 3 things, the leadership, the confidence project to start on, and how do you build internal capabilities.
Thank you, Samantha. And I like what you said about journeying with the industry or with the companies. In SP, we have different learning journeys that they can sign up. We have 5G AIoT learning journey, we have HR learning journey, and all other learning journeys. Advanced manufacturing learning journey is one of our most sought after learning journeys, because it's really about showcasing these success stories. Maybe, Yan, you talk a lot also about the talent pipeline, right? If enterprise transformation ultimately depends on people, which is basically the common theme this morning, it's people, trust, empowerment, leadership mindset, then what role does SP play in ensuring that the talent pipeline keeps pace with the industry, not just today, but really continue on to evolve?
So I think for SP, we have actually two large groups of learners. One would be our younger students. So this will be the young pipeline that will be going to the industry, the engineering sector, particularly for your industry, and also the adult learners. So these are the two pipelines of learners who come to us. And we take this very seriously. I think as educators, if we are not actually relevant and keeping pace with the industry, whatever we teach the students would not be able to meet industry needs. So there's a very strong responsibility that we feel, and our lecturers are actually constantly thinking about that. That's what keeps us up at night. But I think I also want to say that maybe I can focus a bit on our young students, and this is where I would want to appeal to our industry partners here to be able to really give the opportunity to our students. So what we are building is three key things for our students. I think fundamentals of the trade doesn't change. So engineering fundamentals, these are things that is a given because they need to have strong fundamentals. But of course, with the industry embracing AIs, I 5.0, that kind of thing, we have to weave that into the curriculum in a very timely manner as well. So for that, the industry relevance is critical. So we do need and we do consciously work with partners. I think Dr. Mok gives us a lot of projects for the students to do prototyping as part of their final year projects. And on that basis, I think Dr. Mok would then take the development further. But through that, he identifies the talent who potentially could join the company as well. And I think that we work with industry on also a very interesting concept called co-location. I think this morning of our 21 partners, many of them are co-locating here in SP. So as they co-locate here, our lecturers, our students also get to first-hand experience the technology and learn and also help the industry in terms of deployment of the solution to their customers as well. So this is a very deliberate ecosystem, and we are always looking for new partners to be able to really bring the talent pool capability to the next level.
Thank you, Yan Yan. I think just to hammer the point is that industry relevance is key. And since Yan Yan mentioned Dr. Mok's work with us, maybe briefly, Dr. Mok, can you share with them the work that you've done with SP Business Innovation Center through our accountancy students? Can you imagine when I saw this project, I was like, Dr. Mok on what tech working with accounting students? How did that work? Can you share with everyone what did you do on that project?
Okay, on this project, actually, we share our financial reports. So for me, it's actually more of trying to get new, fresh perspective from the students. They are coming in as consultants who can actually compare us with the listed companies, and then to see what are the shortfalls or what are our strengths we can continue to build forward to. So a lot of times this collaboration, these projects actually gives me fresh ideas that I can actually bring back to the company. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So definitely please look out for our students. In SP, we do have the 22-week internship, but we also have 44 weeks. That's essentially year-long internship. In fact, 85% of our students from School of Computing, they go out for internship to the companies for 44 weeks. And they do deployable solutions as well. Speaking of solutions, Perlin, in your day-to-day as head of HR of Global Foundries, 4,000 people, you know, I'm not going to ask you what keeps you up at night. I think I can tell, right? But apart from AI, is there anything else? Because I think there's a little bit of like AI fatigue maybe happening, like, oh, AI again. Okay, I go for training, right? But how do you sustain the interest and making sure that it's not just about technology?
Wow. Okay, so yeah, you're right. As in, it's not just AI. There's a lot of time whereby, you know, we have to look at what the workforce needs or the capability gap is. So that's where, you know, a lot of, we still leverage on AI, automation, because it's changing what our employees are, the day-to-day work. So that actually kind of, we have to build the ecosystem. Actually, in that sense, it's not just internally in GF that we build capability, but that's where we are partnering with the IHLs, especially SP, what is required for our workforce, okay? Digitalization, because we are in manufacturing in Singapore, so that's where, you know, we actually build an organization, digital manufacturing organization, that helps to look at what are the operations need to improve the workflow, improvement of the workflow. We have huge engineering data to start off with. How do we analyze that? How do we use that data to make more informed decision making, workflow improvement that I mentioned, you know, and also troubleshooting. So, because I'm a business partner working with operations, we actually hear a lot about engineering workflow that needs breakthrough. Yeah. How do we do that? So there are all the competency gaps that we realize that we need to continue to build to improve the capability of our people. So we leverage a lot on automation at this point, but it's definitely what else, what our employees looking for, you know, to be able to kind of probably work and improve their job scope as what, you know, we are facing, what's changing for the future.
Thank you, Perlin. Yeah, very inspiring, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things that is going to come your way as you go through this journey. Samantha, you said you engage about 1,000 organizations the past year alone. I'm sure you have a lot of stories. Of course, we're mindful of time, but people like to hear stories. Can you give us a success story or a story that people here can learn from in terms of journeying through their enterprise and innovation transformation?
For a moment, I thought you said a sad story. I was like, no. So I think working with SMEs is something that is a journey, like I said, right? Maybe I can share an example. I think many of you might have known this logistic company called iHub. It's a smallish, mid-sized logistic 3PL company, and they have been doing a lot of logistic supply chain management. I think the business grew over the years, and increasingly it became very difficult for them to track the multiple projects that's going on, and there are a lot of customers from different parts of the world calling his team to do, what's the status update and stuff like that. And because he serviced a lot of big MNCs, I'm not sure about Global Foundries, but he does a lot of MNCs, so he has a lot of service standards to meet as well. So it came to a point where he realized depending on his staff alone is not sufficient. So he had to embark on an AI transformation effort. So we worked with him to walk the journey to identify his entire process. Where can AI come in? Because AI is not just buying a tool, right? It's also about looking at what your processes are, and do you need to change it? Where do you need to adjust it, like what was shared earlier? And how can you make it even better? So the company invested in an AI platform where there's an internal AI agent to help his staff to track all the different projects movement so that the staff can help the external clients understand where the situation is at that point. So the story is interesting because not because he embarked on AI, it's because he focused quite a fair bit on the staff. He involved the staff in the process development, and he talked to the staff, whether they are a young staff or a very senior guy. So I remember there was a guy that's about 67 years old. He was in the warehouse looking at packing of stuff, the boxes so that it can be delivered. He actually said that with the AI agent, he's able to do the 2 important things rather than the 5 not important things. You know, because clients' prioritization is helping him to decide what he should do first. And for a 67-year-old man, to him, that's very important. Because he had gone through situations where he did 5 things that are not important, spent so much energy, when actually the 2 things, he didn't touch it. So with the AI agent, he completely changed that for him. So I think for a story like that, I mean, if you'd allow me, I would say maybe there are 5 dimensions to think about. Apart from leadership and strategy, there is also the people and the culture. You really do need to involve the people, make sure that the working environment is conducive. You need to think about the technology as well, how it's integrated with the processes, and not just a isolated AI pilot somewhere. You need to think about the value that it's creating for not just your business ROI, but also for the people as they do their work every day. And of course, last but not least, one of the key things we work with iHub is data governance. So you really need to be clear on how to protect the data, tell people what kind of policy the organization has if you do want to use the data for AI application. So I hope that helps, yeah.
Yes, definitely. We taken notes of those 5 points. Thank you so much. And really, it's about having that structure, right? A real intentional way of making sure that it all drives into a positive outcome for the employees. I'm mindful of time, so I'm going to give all the panelists one final question to say or to share to the audience today before we go on. But don't worry, this is 2 days, okay? We still can see you later and tomorrow. Briefly, what is that one capability organizations should invest now if they want to remain competitive, and I'm giving you a timeline, over the next 5 years? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Our teacher will go first.
Okay. I was thinking about it, and I think for me, it is really around inspired innovation, because inspired is a personal feeling. And even as a teacher, I think all of us need that inspiration rather than that fear when we have an environment where things are changing very, very quickly, and there are a lot of pressures as well. So if I look at that motivation, is actually critical. And when we work with industry, I think it's to Samantha's point as well, sometimes changing internally is difficult. But when there's a partnership, like students, there's consultants from SP coming in, it really does kickstart the process itself. So for me, it's really about the leadership in the company having that inspiration and vision, but vision alone is insufficient. I think action is very necessary. And I think big action may require a lot of resources. It may disrupt the current business model and so forth. But I think small action is definitely possible. I really like Samantha's story around really being able to take that small action, engage the people, and being able to create that value. And success builds on itself, and that's how the transformation happens. So I remind myself every day, actually, even though there seems to be a lot of challenges, in many ways, it's that inspiration and the little action that would make all the difference.
Thank you, Yen Yen. And inspirational leadership is one of the most practiced type of leaderships. Who wants to go next?
Maybe I go
Dr. Mok.
So a short one, maybe to invest in both human or technology. If it turns tangible returns, please reward our people appropriately. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to share. Thanks.
Thank you. Show me the money, right, Dr. Mok? Samantha?
The momentum.
Yes, we'll keep the momentum.
Yeah. It's never about the technology. It's always about what is the problem statement you want to solve, how you solve it, bring your people along. Yeah, you'll be surprised what your staff can do with AI. Yeah, so like I said, bosses, please think big, but you can start small. You need to scope it well and act now.
Thank you very much. Very well said. And finally?
Yeah, I agree with all of you. Now, yeah. So
yes, I agree with everybody. That's my Go ahead, Perlin.
Maybe I would have a different perspective as in learning agility. I would probably invest more in learning agility, but of course powered by AI fluency. We need to stay relevant. We need to stay confident. We need to kind of leverage on AI, but of course using it responsibly. Yeah, to actually kind of be able to deliver outcomes and also as shaping what comes next. Yeah.
Thank you so much to our panelists for reminding us that transformation is not just one thing. It's really a combination of tech, people, trust, and really that commitment to the purpose. Shall we give everybody a round of applause before we pause for lunch? Thank you so much, panelists. If we can stand up for a group photo. You can take your pictures and make sure you connect with everybody right away.
That was certainly a power-packed panel segment with things I'm going to be taking the rest of today to unpack. So this brings us to the end of this segment. Let's give them another round of applause. Panelists, thank you so much. May we invite you back to your seats.
You can still see them later.
Absolutely. You know, feedback is such a big part of how we learn here. So we'd like to invite you to take a moment to scan our QR code currently displayed on the screen.
Tell us what we have done well and things that we can do better.
And don't forget to drop by our SP booth, one of 35 booths available out there in the foyer. Last reminder, for those of you who have signed up for afternoon breakout tracks, please gather at the exhibition hall by 1:15.
We'll see you later at 1:15.
Thank you and enjoy your lunch.
Enjoy your makan. Thank you, everyone.